Hey guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Miles Morales, the kind of sequel to Sony's Spider-Man game, which incidentally we did give Game of the year it came out. So it opens up after that game. You're playing as Miles, who is now teaming up with Peter and is doing his Spider-Man thing, and the opening basically has you taking down Rhino after Peter gets knocked out and discovering he has the bioelectric venom powers. It then sort of becomes this mystery about this new I was going to say this new form of energy, but it's actually a new form. So I guess that's why they called it that, right? And a chemical company called Roxxon and what they're doing. And there's also this sort of underground resistance that are called the Underground. Did they just pick like the really fucking obvious names or what? Jesus Christ. I've just named both things by accident. Oy. And they're being led by the Tinkerer, who is stealing from Roxxon and possibly involved in some sort of terrorism and badness like that. And Miles has to figure it out, doing Spider-Man-y things. And it's great. It is a great game. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as the Spider-Man game that preceded it. I mean, the game itself, Miles Morales game, takes about 7 to 8 hours to get everything done. There are a few things locked off for a New Game Plus playthrough, which I suppose I appreciate because it gives you reason to go back. Because the story won't change, you'll just re-experience the storyline again. I do have a few niggles with it. The first one is the Tinkerer. If you know him from the comic books, he's this sort of middle to oldish guy, white guy, who makes things for other super criminals and basically gives them their gear that they can go out and be criminal with. And in the game, it's very much not that. They've race and gender flipped him. In the purpose of the game, it works. It does work. For the characters and the way they interact, it's fine. I just don't like changing something that's been established just for the hell of it, really. I mean, you could have created your own bad guy or found a more appropriate bad guy to put in that position, and it's not really even a bad guy. So it really is a character that's sort of in the grey, and there's a secondary character in the grey which probably was brought in because of the Spider-Verse movie, and you know, he's appropriate, he's fine, all good, but yeah, I just want like the characters that we're familiar with to be just presented as those characters, rather having them be used for some other purpose. I think if the character's not strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet without an association to a pre-existing villain, then you don't really need that character. If you see what I mean. Am I just rambling? Possibly. So the elephant in the room. I'm going to speak about it very neutrally. BLM is in the game. It's in the game in a very, very mild fashion. You have an app. You do quests for the app, essentially. And once you've done them all, they say, oh, we've left you a present against a wall. You go to pick up the wall. It's got a BOM montage on it, and on the floor is a new spider suit called the Uptown Pride suit, and it's just basically the regular Miles Morales suit, but it's got gold instead of red, and that is literally it. So whatever side you come down on, I mean, it's a pretty divisive thing to put in your game in the first place, but to put it in and really have it have no bearing on anything, it's kind of like, well, why would you piss people off? I know there's a lot of people that will appreciate it as well, but it just seems something very divisive to put in for such little reason. But regardless of whether you support that kind of thing or you don't support that kind of thing, it really has no effect on the game, and you can continue to enjoy the game anyway. So it really doesn't matter. I feel like it was made a big thing. It always seemed to me like there was a quest line centered around it, and that really isn't the case at all. It's just a mention, literally. So don't worry about it too much. Or if you want, you can go and, it's a nice enough mural, and Miles stands in front of it and looks all heroic. So you've got that. So whatever you think, you can take it or leave it. It's not a problem. It is a game though that does raise a few questions, because I'm forever hearing that, I need to be represented in any form of media for me to get into the character, because I want a hero that looks like me. But I actually really like Miles, and I feel like his actions are what represents him. I've always felt this way. I don't really care about what a person looks like. It's what they do that is important. And I got a little bit, I would say, emotional at the end. Okay, I teared up a little bit. I know, I'm fucking emotionally crippled. Go away. But yes, but that's incredible, isn't it? That I was able to get that invested into a character that doesn't look like me, and I didn't feel the need for him to look like me. Isn't that weird? Isn't that like just impossible according to certain individuals that insist on having representation in everything, in spite of perhaps how few people they're representing? Just saying. Anyway, let's talk more about the game. There are more suits to unlock. There's a lot of them, including representations from the Spider-Verse movie. You've got a lot that I've never seen. I mean, Pete's always been my Spider-Man. I mean, in the game they say that he's their Spider-Man, but I think we can all have Spider-Man men in our life. So I haven't read too much on Miles, to be honest. But yeah, some of the suits look okay. The Prowler sort of knockoff suit looks probably the best in my opinion. It's weird because I always like the ones that the sort of side characters give you, like in the first game. I like the Black Cat suit best. I don't know, I think I just must like claws and darker suits. It's almost like I want a symbiote suit in one of these fucking games at some point. Isn't it, Insomnia? Yes, anyway, it does lack a symbiote suit again. I don't know why. I mean, Sony made the Venom movie, so it appears they would have rights to the character, so why can't we get a fucking symbiote suit in any of these games? I suppose they might be making it a plot point in maybe the third game. Maybe there'll be symbiotes in that. And you'll do the whole alien suit arc. But for a throwaway suit, I mean, you put Fantastic Four Bagman suit in the first game, and there's no logical reason for Fantastic Four to be in there. I'm just saying, it's a throwaway suit. Just give me the suit! Sorry. To be fair, they have released a lot of suits for, like, no money at all. So you've got, the Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie suit one, and you got the Amazing Spider-Man one, and they just threw those out. Including the Fantastic Four Bagman, which we referenced in the review, but probably no one got, and then it came out, and I was quite reaffirmed, really. Talking about performance, as I said in my previous video, this is pretty much the first PS5 game I've played, and it does have 3 settings. So you have performance, where you'll get 60 frames per second, and there'll be some upscaling going on. Yeah, you'll get fidelity, which is all your graphical sort of whistles and bells and turned on, bells and whistles even. But you'll suffer like a reduced frame rate, so the frame rate will be basically what the PS4 version was. And to be fair, they do introduce like a performance RT mode, which sort of does some of the graphical effects, but at cost of other stuff. And I'll be completely straight here. I tried it on fidelity initially, because obviously I want, if you've just bought a new console, you want to see what it can do. You want to see it put its best foot forward. And then I tried performance, and I never went back to fidelity. Playing at 60 is so much better than playing at 30. It just is night and day. It is so much smoother. You feel so much more in control. It's so much more responsive. It just looks wonderful in motion as well. I mean, it sucks that you can't have the best of both worlds at once, but yeah, performance will be, I'm going forward, I'll be using that because I would struggle to go back, I think. Now I've gotten used to the high frame rate. It's just ridiculously better. And hopefully now this ends the stupid trend of console owners going, well, 30 frames is more cinematic. It's like, shut up, fuck off, it's worse. And you're going to be the people now saying, oh, well, we have these new high-power consoles that can do 60. Although the PC owners are laughing at them while they're doing 144 to 200. But whatever. Your blessings upon you, child. You're only, God, what about 15 years too late? What, something like that? So yeah, I've had more of an opportunity, obviously, to play PS5 games, and I'm enjoying the experience. It's not, it will never get another generational leap like it was from like PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, where it was really night and day. I think it's just going to be incremental improvements, just getting a little bit faster, a little bit higher res, and implementing some more advanced systems like ray tracing. And I think that's going to be sort of like what's going to happen in every iteration. I don't think you'll ever get one where you sort of buy a new console and you're completely blown away by the graphics. And it's not to say the graphics don't look nice. They look nice even on performance mode. But, it's not a huge leap from what the PS4 looked like in any stretch. I mean, certainly if you had like the Pro version of the game where you were getting HDR anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those things that is going to be... It's just going to be par for the course. You're not going to be able to do anything about it. You buy a new console and you just know, okay, I'm getting a little bit of an upgrade to what it does. And, I can play the newest games, which is why you buy the console in the first place. I also tried, obviously, Spider-Man Remastered, which I bought as a pack for £70. Slightly less of a sting when you get two games, essentially. You could buy Miles Morales at £40, which, it's 7 or 8 hours, but it is a good game. And you would definitely want to play it through at least twice. For New Game Plus stuff. So, when you consider like you can get new releases at 70 quid with just one game, £40 for that amount of experience in comparison to 70 isn't that bad. It's still a lot of money. I don't agree with them jacking the prices. I mean, PC has had ray tracing and advanced graphical options and 4K and all that jazz for a long time now, and they didn't increase game prices for PC until the consoles did it. So yeah, I feel like the game prices are going stupid. I mean, especially when you've got ones on there for like 90 quid and you're just like, nah mate, nah. It's like when you can buy like 4 games and it's almost the price of the console, or in some cases more than the price of the console if you've got like the digital or the Xbox Series S, then there's something wrong with that. There really is. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But back to the Spider-Man Remaster. It's the Spider-Man game. You have the 60 frames per second option. You also have the all the graphical options. So you have the same options from Miles Morales. Unfortunately, they have changed the face of Peter Parker in both games, because Peter does turn up in Miles Morales, and I just don't like it. I much prefer the PS4 version for the face. I mean, I always thought he looked like Jamie Bell, but like I've read some comments which said he looks like Tom Holland, and you're like, well, yeah, I can kind of see that. And yeah, I can, and then they're like, you read the press release from like Insomniac, it's going, oh well, we couldn't get the character model's face to animate properly with Yuri Lowenthal's voice at higher frame rates, and I'm just like, I'm not quite sure I buy that. I'm really not sure I buy that, like, whatsoever. I think you just did it to make him look like Tom Holland, really. or you know, Jamie Bell. I still think he looks like bloody Jamie Bell. And what I liked about the Peter in the first one is he looked older. You still had like the sort of wide-eyed childishness about him. But I mean, this is Spider-Man sort of after like several years of being Spider-Man at least. I mean, he's gotten together with MJ, broken up with MJ. He's fought most of all these guys before. They're all aware of him. It's just, I just find that someone looks as young as Tom Holland or Jamie Bell, perhaps. I have trouble seeing him having all that history. But that's just me. The game plays exactly as brilliantly as Miles Morales does. You obviously don't have the Venom powers, but it's PS4 Spider-Man running at 60 frames at 4K. Is there anything more you could want? No, there's not. I don't believe there's any extra suits introduced with the remastered version. I think it's all the old same gear. You do get all of the DLC with it as well. I had bought all of the DLC for it anyway because it was a great game. So it's, I suppose it does add a little bit more value to the £70 price tag, though. I believe they are also bringing Spider-Man Remastered out separately at some point. So that will probably be, I would say, probably around the same £40 mark as Miles Morales was. But you get more game for your money, so it might be a better deal if you only want to buy one and haven't played either. So that is my view on Miles Morales. If I'm going to score it, I'm going to score it a solid 8 out of 10. It's a great game. I like the characters. I don't know why every superhero needs to have a fat dude in glasses as his tech support, but apparently they do. I think I missed a calling there. And is it just me, or is Miles' mum super fucking hot? I know she's like based on the actress that voice acts her. I think it's Jacqueline Pinoy, something like that. But yeah, I checked it. She's hot as well, so I am thinking about her far too often, to be honest. Anyway, 8 out of 10, great game. It really is the only game that I'm vaguely interested in that puts the PS5 through its paces. I was actively looking for something else to get on there. The only thing I could think of was like Demon's Souls. Everything else was multiplayer or sort of pixel art or budget, or just didn't really go for it. I picked up Bugsnax. Not sure I like it, to be honest, but it was like 17 quid, so you can't really argue. The only other one on there I considered was Demon's Souls. I have Demon's Souls on PS3. Did I play it for more than a couple of hours? Not really, so I don't really want to spend 70 quid to get a better looking version of it and then not play it. So I kind of left that alone. It does need more games. I mean, I hear like a lot of the PlayStation guys talking about how Xbox has no games. I'm like, you've got like 2 guys. There aren't that many exclusives on your platform either. So stop shooting your mouth off. I mean, I don't have any intention of getting Series X. I do have a PS5, but even I can be like, yeah, you haven't got much either. I mean, you've got Miles Morales and Demon's Souls. You know, everything else is multiplayer or not really that significant. And then you have like Xbox also has Game Pass, which, you know, I'm a huge proponent of that. Yes, so I don't get like why people are so precious about it. It's like you buy a console and you know, as long as it plays your games that you want to play, then that's fine. I mean, tell us everything you've been up to. I don't understand why they need to justify it by being like, oh, my box is better than your box. It's just enjoy the fucking games and shut your mouths. Alright? Otherwise I'll bring my PC Martin and smash you both. Master race, bitches. Anyway, that's it for this week. Let me know down below if you've played Miles Morales. What did you think? Did you like it better than the first one? I'm curious. I think it's very good, but I like the first one better. I don't know whether that's just because I like Peter Parker more as Spider-Man. I don't know, maybe. And, you know, I'm 42. Am I 42? It might be 42 or 41. We'll say 41 because it's younger, eh? We'll go along with that. And I've been like a comic book fan all of my life. So I am obviously a hell of a lot more familiar with Peter Parker than I am with Miles Morales. And that's not to say I don't like Miles, because I really do like Miles. He's just such a nice kid. You can't help but like him. And the things he does, you look at it and you go, yeah, that's in that situation, I would hope I would do that as well. So I think that's what we should be calling for. Representation in action rather than any physical attribute, because at the end of the day, if they made a movie that I was represented in, it would be this guy sat in front of his PC, drinking whiskey, eating chicken wings, and doing fuck all. Not a great movie, you gotta say. You guys, take it easy.